So, my expectations with Deadpool and Wolverine were... I had no expectations. Other than... I guess I did have expectations. All I wanted from this movie was I wanted to be fun. I wanted to be silly. I want there to be action. Just a good story, just some heartwarming moments. And I want these two characters to shine. It did that. It really did do that. It did a great job of really making these two kind of the head and shoulders, the main characters of this movie. Was it one of those movies where it was like, this is the movie that's gonna bring Marvel back? I don't think it matters to me personally, because to me it's like it takes more than just one movie to be like, yeah, Marvel, the MCU's back and stuff like that. It's like, has the MCU ever really been gone? Not really. They've made so much freaking money. They're not going anywhere. They probably just had a rough patch, but there was some tough moments. If you wanted me to put like a number on it, I'd probably give it like a solid... numbers are kind of hard because I feel like it did what it needed to do, and under that definition, I guess it gets a 10 out of 10 because it did what I wanted it to do. But I don't want to do that, so I don't even know if I want to give it like a regular grade. All I'll say, this is how I'm going to grade it. I think if you love Deadpool, I think if you love the X-Men, I think if you really enjoyed like the Fox X-Men films and stuff like that, I think that this is a movie you're really going to enjoy. I think if you like Deadpool and you kind of like the dry humor and the obviously, this is the fourth wall breaking character, the character who is self-aware, then I think you're gonna love this movie. And that's one of the things that I really... And by the way, I've changed this to spoiler-free talk. But now that there's some people who have seen the film, maybe we can go back to spoiler talk. So right now I'm in the spoiler-free section. What did I like about Deadpool? Initially, because, the X-Men and these characters were now a part of, Kevin Feige's MCU and Disney MCU and stuff like that. I thought that he was probably going to be kind of chained up, if you will, right? A lot of the jokes and a lot of the sort of crude humor, the sexual humor was going to be kind of tucked away or nerfed, if you will. But it wasn't, actually. It wasn't. So much so that, like, they were even taking shots at Marvel itself. They were taking shots... The characters taking shots at a lot of different things. Anything superhero related, where shots were given, which was nice. It was nice that, like, this movie's not taking itself seriously and it's making fun of all these things, and, like, Marvel is aware of it, and it was great. What I will say is that I thought that there were some jokes that were told a little bit too much. For example, there's a lot of ass jokes. And when I mean ass, I mean like anus jokes. There's a lot of like, it's a lot of anal jokes in this game. I almost said this game, in this movie. And over time, I was just like, all right, man, like, we get it. Like, I guess you roll that way. Fine. But like, can we fucking move it along? So I feel like sometimes it was a little bit too much of that. And there was a little bit too much of, just too much. Let's talk about something that I really loved. It was awesome seeing these two together. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are perfect. They are literally a perfect combination. Because in my opinion, these two are like... I can't think of anyone else who can play these two characters. I can't think of Ryan Reynolds at this particular time. He is Deadpool to me. He just is. Like, that's his personality. That's probably his persona, right? As just like an actor and like in entertainment. He maybe is or isn't like that inherently, but like, I feel like he embodies the character. Like, this is who he wants to be, right? So, and I think he did a great job of that, man. There was some great jokes, by the way. There was some pretty good jokes. I don't think there was a joke in the movie that like made me like die in laughter, but there were some moments where I was like, there were moments where I laughed, where I was like, this thing looks so ridiculous that it's funny to me. And I think those moments came when these two were together on screen fighting. And the fighting was great. The choreography was like, you can tell that, oh yeah, Marvel, this is Marvel Disney money, like, you know, in comparison to the other Deadpool films where it was like, it was kind of like fuck you MCU films in a way. It's like we're kind of doing our own thing, like, you know, we're still Marvel, but you know, we don't have the budget, but like we could still do things. This one definitely, you can see that it had the budget, but at the same time, like, I thought it was implemented in really good ways. There wasn't like a shit ton of crazy like weird CGI and stuff like that. And yeah, man, Hugh Jackman returning as Logan, as Wolverine, was great. And it's also to say, like, it's kind of scary when movies, just to give some background, for those who have seen Logan or haven't seen it, Logan is like one of the greatest like comic book films of all time, in my opinion, or superhero films, whatever you want to call it. It's definitely up there with like some of the best Marvel movies of all time. At least that's how I feel. Logan was awesome. It was an amazing send-off to the character. And somehow, some way, they were still able to honor that. They were still able to honor that, and they were still able to kind of like they can recognize that that moment happened without saying like it didn't happen and we're just forgetting about it and we're just shitting on it. No, they were able to take that piece and that element and implement it into this story, and it worked out great, man. So, and for those who haven't stuck around and maybe are not super aware with like the MCU and stuff like that, like obviously they've kind of drifted to like doing multiverse, like, sorry, not multiverses, but like a multiverse and the TVA and all this other stuff. Like, that's pretty much what Marvel, the current MCU, is. There's a reason we're seeing this Wolverine. I don't feel like this is a spoiler, but this is not this is not the Logan we all know and remember, but it is at the same time. So I don't feel like that's really a spoiler, but just FYI, like that's the world we're in right now. But I thought these two were great together. The action scenes were great. I want to say my favorite segments of the film in terms of like if we're putting them in parts, I liked all the acts. All the acts were great. I think from beginning to end, it was great. Like even when there was like too much exposition, there were parts where Deadpool was like, "Oh, okay, come on, man. Like this is too much exposition. Like we're boring the crowd." Like there was like those little moments. I don't think he said that specifically, but like it was nice that they acknowledged that and said, again, man, it was just a really fun film. It was super fun. And again, I think at times there's too much dialogue. There's too much happening. And I'll be honest, there were even times where I was just like, buddy, I would really love if Deadpool just stopped talking for a moment. And there were parts where he did. Like, there were parts where, like, the other characters were like, bro, will you shut the up, please? And, like, he did. And I was just like, thank you, because I'm getting tired of hearing Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in my ear. Like, I was kind of like, dude, okay, can you shut the up, please? Like, I'm over this shit. So, yeah, man, overall, it was great. The soundtrack was really good, right? It wasn't, like, original songs, but, like, the songs that they picked were great. That opening scene, you guys know what song I'm talking about. That shit was awesome. Great opening scene. The final act was great as well. So the music selection has always been great in Deadpool, but I feel like the music selection for sure in this movie was great, and I love how they had fun with it and how they were playing with it and stuff. It was great, man. It was great. And yeah, there were moments where I was just like, man, I'm tired of seeing this guy as this character. No, I was just like, oh no, I can see why this character makes sense for this part. So whenever I saw Hugh on screen, it was great. Whenever I saw Deadpool, whenever I saw any of the other cameos that I saw, I was just like, that's cool. And again, I think if you really like Deadpool, the Deadpool films, this is just as good as those films, in my opinion. There's definitely some longer parts, though, in this movie, I'll be honest. I thought the movie was maybe just a little bit long at some parts. I felt it could have ended maybe 15 minutes prior, but yeah, I thought it was great, man. It was really good. And there were some really heartwarming parts of this movie, in this movie as well, right? Like, you would think it's just like, you know, blood, gore, comedy, you know, fighting, you know, anal jokes, cameos and stuff. that's not all it was. Like, there were some really heartwarming parts to this movie as well, which I really appreciated. I think it's nice when movies like this that are like clearly not trying to take themselves too seriously add a little dash of just some heartwarming moments, some moments of like, oh yeah, man, like this is sad, like fuck, like I understand why this character feels this way, and then like, you know what I'm saying? So it was a really good movie, solid movie. It was nice to see Wolverine back. Definitely go see it if you get an opportunity to go watch it. Again, if you like Wolverine, if you like X-Men, if you like Deadpool, if you just like fun Marvel movies that are just Deadpool, it's great. It's really great.